Okay, this is Julia, and this is looking pretty good. Let's gonna take a look at these hands, and I was gonna say it should the wrist should extend into the arm. I thought I might isolate that, and thought to kind of help with this shape, you might just hit B to turn off soft select. Use that circularize tool, which is here, and then you could kind of scale it, you know, something like that. And put it in there, and then maybe pull it back a touch. Probably add another Control Shift X to get the multi-cut tool and add another loop there. You could terminate some of these loops as they come down. The fingers are a bit long, like in this direction, this sort of oval shape, so I might flatten those fingers out a little bit. But otherwise, the shape of the hand looks pretty good. But yeah, they do look indeed. Unless that's supposed to be stylized on purpose. The other thing is if you could put more of an indication of knuckles, so kind of a little bit more on either side of each, a joint, and then you can bend those in a little bit, and that'll give a little bit more of a sense of a knuckle. And then do the same at the wherever this is going to bend here, maybe around here. Something like that. And then I would say overall these things need to be not so thick this direction, so maybe like that. Looks a little better. Anyways, and continue with those knuckles. What else? Let's see, the face. Yeah, this is pretty good. You've got this very kind of V-shaped thing here, very pointy at the front. I kind of want to flatten that out a little bit. How to do that easily? I'm trying to think if a lattice would help us, but I'm not sure it would. I think what I might do is just make sure symmetry is turned on and select some vertices with soft select turned on. Kind of just start trying to round this shape out. Maybe like on a larger scale from over here. It's a little funny looking, but yeah, I mean you'll have to put a bit more time into this. It's not necessarily a quick fix, but yeah, try to get a little better shape. And maybe like puff out the cheeks a little bit. For that I might hold down W, go to Axis, Normal, and then pull on this, maybe a bit bigger. That kind of puffs them out a little bit. Not too much. Maybe a little bit more here. I'm not sure I'm so happy with that. But anyway, you get the idea. Just a little more. So look how much less V-shaped it is now than it was a little bit ago. So I think that deserves a little bit of time and effort, but you get the idea, hopefully. Eyelids are actually looking, you've got a decent amount of geometry there. What else? Hair. That looks alright. Okay. pants. I'm not real happy with, I feel like the shirt should extend over the pants a little bit. You've also got some five-sided faces here, like this, because if you look at, this is an edge and that's an edge, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's because this thing right here doesn't extend up, and I think you could probably use that topology anyways. So I might go ahead and add something in here, and then connect that up to there, and then maybe shape this a little bit better. Give this a little bit more of a back. I think you needed that geometry anyway. This I might slide, shift right mouse click, slide edge tool, slide out a little bit, and these I might slide out. Shift right mouse click, slide edge. Yeah, just kind of spread those out a little bit. Probably even up some of the topology here, but yeah, then maybe pull this down over the shirt. I'm going to shift greater than symbol, and then just make sure I got all that, and let's pull that down and scale it out. Maybe we need another loop there. We can scale out independently. Something like that. This I might just pull these areas back. That might be too much, but something like that. Okay. But yeah, overall I think this is looking really good. There's something, the size of his hands compared to the size of his head seems not right. So maybe some combination of shrinking the hands and increasing the size of his head. I'm just going to group that real quick and center the pivot, and then scale this up a bit, and then move that up. His neck got too narrow big when I did that, so scale that back down. Probably give some extra detail in here, and then scale this down a little bit too, fit in there. I don't know, that looks a little better to me. Not having the head quite so small. Maybe shrink the hands a little bit too. Let's take a look at the UV maps. That looks good. I don't see any issue there. I mean, you could, that's fine. I was going to say you could make them a bit larger, but that looks good. Looks like you have an issue with the bottom of the shoes here. Just picking this shell, and let's do UV planar options, y-axis, apply, and then wait, what happened there? Something's funny with this one. Planar options, y-axis, apply. Oh, it worked that time. I don't know. Yeah, and just make it like the same size checker as the rest of these ish. And let's repeat that for this shell. something like that, I guess. This looks stretched to me. So those look more square now. Okay. The rest of that doesn't look real problematic, so I'll just select all of them and Control L to lay that out again. Why is it spreading it to this next quadrant? Not sure, maybe some of these have to move. It's pretty crowded, huh? Well, normally if you lay out, it does a good job of keeping it in one quadrant. For some reason it's not. I might take them all and just scale them down a tiny bit. Okay. So yeah, but overall those are good UV maps. You're doing really good. Nice. Next up is Anton, and model is looking great, really good. Might just check on this little interpenetration thing here. You know, either move the pants out or tuck the shirt in a little bit there. And yeah, this is looking good. I'm wondering, that's just yeah, seam down the middle, that's fine. Yeah, face looks good. A lot of character to it. Yeah, I keep running into these where people are using non-spherical shaped eyeballs. Because it's a problem, because when you rotate the eye, that's what happens. So I understand that's sort of the look of the character, but you know, usually you can do, you know, a sphere shaped eye and kind of work around it. I wonder if we can, no, just give it a shot. Let's see if we can use this one as a sphere shaped. See, it's not too far off, you know, already. And you know, the bigger I go on this, well, the flatter it'll be, but yeah, but I guess we I mean, you can kind of see that we're not, you know, we're not too far off from where you were. I mean, you probably have to touch up the lid a little bit now, you know, down here, but that won't be that much work. You know, just kind of pulling this out a little bit and make sure I'm not selecting anything else. Yeah, so you gotta look out for that. You can accidentally select stuff down there. Anyway, as you can see, with just a very few small changes, I have a spherical shaped eyeball now that is not going to have those problems. So it's not like you have to redesign the character. You just need, you know, to make it work with a spherical eye, and it is, you know, big. In reality, it overlaps the other one, but that doesn't matter as long as it's sphere shaped and you know, works. But yeah, really good work here. Not super happy with all of these the way all these are terminating into faces with multiple edges. There's better ways of terminating those edge loops, and some of them didn't really need to be, because you have these down here, but so you might want to clean that up a little bit. Actually they could probably terminate higher up here somewhere. I'll just do one example. If we, well, not that, let's do edit mesh. No, mesh tools, target weld. So if I do like take this, whoops, that to that, and then select this edge, shift right mouse click, delete edge. So what I get is this is now a four-sided face because it's one, 2, 3, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's a four-sided face, and so is everything below. And we can get rid of this and say this, right? So you can just kind of keep doing that process. So for example, these here, so target weld that to that, and then get rid of this edge, shift right mouse click, delete edge, and then we've got extra stuff here we can get rid of. Just double clicking on those, shift right mouse click, delete edge. So now we're remaining in quads, but we have less, and so you can kind of keep doing that until you're reduced to what you actually need. Do that throughout there. Yeah, probably don't want those to be, is that the same surface? I might separate those. Yeah, so looking really good. Let's take a look at the UV maps. Okay, looks good. Looks maybe a few more shells than are needed here, I would think. Got one here, one here, one big one on the back. I'm just wondering why we have these extra panels here. It's not a big problem, but I would tend to yeah, and then down here as well. It seems like it's cut up more than it needs to be. So I would tend to take this. Can we work symmetrically here? Yeah. Or is that going to mess things up? Let's try it. So, and unfold and layout. Doesn't seem to have so. Oh yeah, it did so here, and it sewed there. Yeah. Oh, so now that whole front thing is one shell, and then, although actually we don't need. Anyways, I guess the point is, yeah. So let's try working not symmetrically, because I'm wondering if it's. Just do one half at a time here. So. To me, that should all be part of one shell. So, and then that one So, and then Control U, oops, Control L. And so now, let's see, we've got this, that. See, that makes more sense to me. I don't see any reason why you needed those extra shells. And then again, I might sew, you know, along here as well, so we don't have those extra ones at the bottom. But you know, it's not really a problem. It just could be a little cleaner. But everything looks good. Yeah, great work all around. I think there was a question about the unfolding, which is, you know, when you do the unfold, you want to make sure that there's the unfold 3D method selected, and if that's not showing up for some reason, go to Windows, Setting Preferences, Plugin Manager, and scroll down till you find Unfold 3D right here, and make sure both of these are checked, and then that option will show up if it didn't before. Next up is Nathan, and yeah, this is looking really good. Great detail on here. A lot of good accuracy in the model. I think that the mouth shape is a bit extremely U-shaped, and I might want to kind of flatten that out a little bit, because you've got that kind of V shape to the face. For that, hold on W, go to Symmetry, maybe select vertice here, B for soft select, and maybe make that a little smaller. And then try kind of pulling this stuff forward. A little bit. Try and kind of round that out. You know, it deserves more time than that, but you sort of get the idea where it's not as kind of pointy shaped from that angle. Maybe give him more of a cheekbone. You might benefit from another edge loop in there, actually, but you know, if you can make do with what you have, even better. Just trying to give him some cheekbones. I don't want to mess up his eyes too much. You could give him could use a little bit more geometry for the lids there. I like the way you've done the hair. It's a bit dense, but it's a good look for the character. Maybe a few too many of these in the back. Might be able to get away with less. Yeah, you've got all the armor pieces going. I'm afraid what's going to happen when... Oh yeah, look up for this interpenetration here, so you'll just want to deselect that, pull this out. There's something called a wrap deformer that we might want to try and use, and the way that works is that, I know we haven't got to any of this yet, but when you bind the skin to the skeleton, rather than binding this also to the skeleton, you can use what's called a wrap deformer and have this surface control that surface, so however the pants move, these move with it. So just remember that for later when you get into binding. I'm just afraid about how this is going to work. I would consider losing at least these bottom ones. I don't think it's that essential for the look of the character, and I can see that being a headache. Also, I don't know why you're combining all these surfaces. Seems to be a sort of find that all over the place. People combining surfaces. I don't know why they choose to do that, but yeah, so just do mesh separate. The shoes look great. Really nice job on those. Good clean modeling. This is a very good model. I think you've done a really good job. Let's take a look at the UV maps. And yeah, good. Good. Like I say, I usually put everything in quadrant 1 over here. Oh yeah, and this is, again, I do not combine these surfaces. I keep them separated. Let's see. So you did the split down the middle for this. Why does that look like it's two different surfaces? I guess it's not. I guess it's just the way the UV maps are. But yeah, I mean the checkers look really good, so I think that'll map well. You do have a seam down the middle, which is, I think, less than ideal. It certainly makes for an even layout of checkers, which is good. But the other thing you've got going on is wait, UV shell. Why is that? What? Oh yeah, there we go. Is that because I have symmetry on? Yeah, so the catch with the way you've done this is that when you paint one half of the face, it will exactly paint the other half of the face, meaning that it's going to be perfectly symmetrical, which I don't personally tend to like for faces, because the one, you have the model is symmetrical, and the one place you can add some asymmetry is the way you paint the texture on the face. And so what that would mean would be to kind of lay this out again, where, whoa, why are there so many little pieces? Are there that many little border? It's like, oh, all of these are, that's why when I was picking the UV shell it was doing that. Each little thing is its own UV shell on that side of the head. Yeah, that's not so good. Every single one of these is a UV shell. They're not combined. I suppose you could very quickly sew all of those, I think. Let's try that. Oh. Maybe not all of them. Oh, because we don't want that outside edge. Oh geez, you'd have to, yeah, I guess we just pick all of them and then deselect the outside edge. That seems like a pain in the butt. Let's turn off checker for a minute so we can see what we're doing. So see if we can sew these back up again. Yeah, you don't want those all to be separate little. I'm just control selecting these to, what a pain. Because otherwise it'll snap that to the other side. I don't think we necessarily want that right now. Let's at least first get these all together before we consider connecting it to anything else. Okay, so I got rid of that outside edge, and now let's try sew. Yeah, actually that wasn't so bad considering. So now that's all one shell now. Oops, there's a row missing, and where is that? Okay. Oh, those are individual faces that have been sewn to that side, kind of oddly. Well, yeah, so then you're going to want to pick all of these. Just using Control Shift Select to pick all these. Although really, no, I guess you want, I think you want this to go with the, this side of the face, right? Or no, this. Yeah, that. Right? What happens when I... didn't like that. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a mess. All these individual faces. I'm wondering what happened here. Oh, here too. Those are all individual faces, but laid out one on top of each other that are not sewn together. Where are these guys? That's on the back of the head. Yeah, I'm wondering how that happens. I might take a step back with this head and do that again. And I don't particularly like a seam down the middle anyway, and I don't like the sort of symmetrical thing where they're painting both sides. So I would do the head again. But besides that, I think everything is looking good. So yeah, not real excited about dealing with these belts, but as far as I can tell, the UV map for everything else looks good. And again, I always put everything in quadrant 1, but I guess this will work. I don't exactly know how Mudbox deals with that, but I guess we'll see. You can always move it to quadrant 1 if it's a problem later. By quadrant 1, I mean right here. Alright, yeah, really good work. Next up is Shelly, and yeah, looking a little unfinished here. Obviously the face isn't finished modeling, so there's really no point in UV mapping. You've got a texture on this shirt. That's a really good way to see whether or not there's any distortion, and there appears to be definitely none. That's good. Yeah, great. So clearly the shirt was laid out well. Oh, and you got a test texture on the pants too, which also doesn't seem to show any distortion, and the checkers look good. And the shoes. Hide my image planes. Where's that? Yeah. Those look good. Maybe a little something funny going on. Oh. So if you're having trouble with... What? That's all one shell? Oh, this could be cut up more. That probably wouldn't all be one shell. I might at least cut along here. Cut. And let's unfold Control U. What the heck just happened? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this has been cut up yet, I think is what happened. I can kind of, if I turn off checkers, yeah, I can see that you've got this. Oh, and you've got, oh, okay, this hasn't been cut up at all, so that's silly. Yeah, it's in the video. I don't need to redo this because it's the same shoe, so you could always just watch the video of it. But, oh, and you've got some kind of extra funny surfaces here. These, I'm not sure why these are extruded out like that. So you've got a little bit going on with geometry there, but yeah, just you'll have to redo that. I can see that looks just sort of like a cube, like a somewhat changed cube's original. So yeah, properly do the UV layout on that as well. And the hand, oh, that's not laid out either. I think I've already shown stuff on this hand, but do the the cleanup to get rid of some of those problems, and then yeah, this is kind of there's something funky with the geometry here. Oh, that might just be normals. I think we went. I feel like I went over this already with this hand. It's very looks familiar. I think from module 4. If I'm not. Mesh display in reverse. Yeah. Okay, and then make it thicker and pull the wrist in and all that. But I feel like I went over that in module 4. So. Yeah, a little bit behind here. The UV layout stuff you have done is good, but the model's unfinished. I will be giving you guys all an option just to move forward with my version of the character. Yeah, I'll be posting that as well if you if you don't want to fall further behind. This is Warren, and yeah, what a really great model. Just looking really good. Kind of just checking out how you've done everything. I like the shoulders coming up clearly there. Take a look at the hand. Yeah, it looks nice. You might want to extend this further into the arm so we don't see that, and maybe it gets a little wider. Because you're at a big risk of, with that kind of large opening there, maybe narrowing down this opening a bit, or making it like try turning on symmetry. Is that working? Maybe symmetry won't work because it's an asymmetrical model. Maybe it's gonna screw things up. Yeah, because of this thing, it's an asymmetrical model. But I could kind of take this, and I could kind of imagine this being a little more like that, the way it hangs on his hand. And you could just also make it smaller in general. And then also, take this guy and whoops. Oh, see, it's already interpenetrating from my adjustments there, but maybe move it over a bit. Yeah, so I was just going to say maybe you want to take this edge and extrude it and pull this back. Whoops. Let's use this. Add a couple divisions. Or maybe some of these are bigger. See how that's doing inside the jacket. Not so great. That's not so good. Maybe the jacket needs to come up, or I went too far with this, maybe. Anyway, it'll take a little bit of tweaking here. You might need to move the jacket around a little bit, maybe move the forearm around a little bit, but you need to get more forearm in there so that we don't see this weird, dangling hand and wrist. What else? Pockets are looking a little weird and smooth, so you might need some more holding edges on those. Yeah, I don't know that I want it to go all the way through the character, but well, and that's where a good trick could be extrude face here, and so kind of you got to be kind of careful about that, but And then we can do something like that. You're going to have to adjust the shape of this so it's a nicer shape, but the point is it gave me some more geometry without having to populate it through the rest of the whole. Come on, buddy. The whole body. And so you could do something like that down here too. Anyway, let's see. I don't love how that's looking on the side. So see how that does sort of like a holding edge, but without. So see how that's getting a little bit more shape to it, and then compare that to that flap. So yeah, I think you need a little bit more detail there to support that. Pants look great. Yeah, shoes looking good. Yeah, okay, let's check out the UV maps. Oh yeah, didn't really focus on the face much, but really good head. Nice, wow. I can tell you put a lot of time into this. Not so sure about the hair coming up so high in the back. I feel like it should be coming down here. So you might want to work on that. I don't know if these hats have seams in them, but that can be just textured on anyway, so wouldn't worry too much about that. Great collar. Yeah, just really good stuff all around. Yeah, let's look at the UV maps. Looks good. Yep. And good. That's the one I messed with. That looks really good. Wow. Great. Yep, not seeing any distortion there. And the feet, shoes. Yeah, great UV maps. Wow. Oh, this one seems to have just crossed over into the neighboring quadrants. So if I just scale this all down a little bit, that goes away. Okay, yeah, really good all around. Great work. Next up is Jesse, and I think I might have the wrong version of the file because I just see these Anim Project 3 and Project 4, and really you should just keep everything in one project folder and just keep adding scene files to your scenes directory of that project and not keep making new project folders because that's going to be confusing. So I go to the one that says 5.1 and there's no scene files in there, and then I go back up to the project 3 and it says 4.1, and then so that's the only scene file I could find in here. So that's the one I have open, but clearly there's no UV maps on this. So but when I look at your post, I can see that clearly there's a lot more work that's been done. So I would say if you could resubmit this, that would be much better, so I could be working with the proper version of this. But just so you have something else to look at, we could look at doing the head. So I'm going to isolate that and start with UV, planar, just to put everything on the same. Ooh. Why does it appear there's a cut even after I did planar? Interesting. Oh, there's a hole. There's a seam in the surface itself. So that is an issue. So let's see if mesh cleanup gets rid of that. We don't have that on, but lamina, non-manifold, edges with zero length, face of zero geometry. I don't think so. Can see, let's see. Yep, that's a bit of a mess. Well, and you can see let's get this checker off. You can see just that you have a face with multiple, this is not a, you know, this face has, oh yeah, there's like a big hole there. Actually, what you might be able to do is, you know, maybe if I can kind of make this a little bit smaller. And then what I might do is grab this edge loop, shift right mouse click, fill hole, and then at least there's a surface there now. I don't think the topology is any good, but then you know, and then maybe add. It wants to add it all the way around, does it? I'm surprised because this is a many-sided face. Surprised it'll go. Oh no, that is a four-sided face. Oh, okay. Well, I guess with that there, theoretically, that's okay topology. I'm just a little concerned about how that. And then you'd have to remirror it again. Ooh. This makes me concerned. Wow. There's all these kind of weird seams in here. Jeez. This is what you were talking about. Yeah. So what I would do is this. I would grab all the vertices and do a edit mesh. Is it edit mesh? Is it mesh? I'm looking for under vertex or under components. Merge. Options. And yeah, that's a very low number, 0.001, and apply. And so what that should do, I hope, is yeah, fix all those weird split open things you've got going on there. I think that's better. So now that we've done that, see all these seams are kind of showing where the seams of the actual model were, independent of the fact that they were. Oh, and that's remirror because we did the thing on that side. Just check this. Shift right mouse click, polygon display, backface culling off. I like to have lighting two-sided as well. Makes it a little easier to see. Okay, let's just check that center line. I'm pretty sure it's fine, but make sure I didn't grab anything else. Okay, and absolute transform 0, enter. Okay, good. And object, shift right mouse click, mirror options, merge border vertices, combine, custom 0.001, cross the, so it's in the positive direction, so we'll change. Oh, it's using the object. Is that just going to work? Good. Okay. I think it just uses the object to figure it out for you. Okay, now I think, hope these, that doesn't look good still. Come on. No, that's okay. So let's do the planar thing again. Hope is that those white lines will go away. Yes. Good. Okay. No. There's more. Jeez, why wouldn't the... Now I would have thought that that merge thing would have solved that, but it could be that they're somehow not perfectly... Yeah, maybe they're a little not perfectly lined up or something. Ooh, and what's this inside surface? I don't like that. Let's turn on symmetry. Yeah, I can see it like, jeez. I would have thought the mesh cleanup would have gotten rid of stuff like that. Not so great. Can try the merge verts thing again. I think if it didn't work, we can do a higher number. See what happens if we do 0.1. This is a little risky because if anything's close together, let's just take a quick look at the libs when we do this. Make sure. Yeah, see, I want that. Let's try 0.01. Yeah, you've got something right here that's very close together, which maybe shouldn't be so close together anyways, and actually looks like it's overlapping. Yeah, this mouse shape looks like it needs a little bit of work, but so let's try again. So what it's doing is taking any, because you have, in these areas where you see these seams, there's two vertices on top of each other, and what this is doing is, if they're super close together, it'll merge them together. Let's just make sure other things that are close don't accidentally get merged. Okay. Let's try it again. UV cleaner. Why? Boy, oh boy. And mesh cleanup's not getting rid of that stuff, huh? Wait, is there more? Well, I thought I got rid of those already. Just don't delete history, Alt-Shift-E. God, just the idea of manually doing this is ridiculous. Also, what's going on in here? Oh, these are more of these weird... Jeez. Why isn't my symmetry working? I just don't get why. I mean, what you can do is, let's just work on 1/2. So, mesh tools, edit mesh, merge to center, and so however far, and I can, to do the most recent one again, I can just do G, and so just be real careful you don't select points anywhere else. So I'm just manually going through. This is what the other merge should have done. I should have looked at how close these were and merged them, but for some reason it didn't work. Can't remember which ones I got. Well, I can see up here why that wouldn't work, because this is pretty far apart, like these two. Yeah, be careful not to select anything on the front. Yeah, see, that was a big gap. Whoops. Do I have symmetry on still? Oops, that might have been bad. That's alright. Yeah, see how far apart those are? Get rid of any other selection. Careful about, those selections. Yeah, look at how far these are apart. You can see why it wouldn't merge those automatically. So that's why. I don't know what happened in your modeling process that caused this, but that's why you're having so many problems with. Alright, let's remirror. And let's do this again. I think there's less now, maybe? What's going on with this? I might have screwed it up. Yeah. Let's reopen this because I think it can be a little bit more strategic. So I think what I might do is let's go back to using. Oh God! So let's first of all let's show our back face things and two-sided lighting, and let's go in and try and get rid of some of the garbage in here. Let's see if we can get symmetry working for us. No symmetry. Well, that was symmetrical. Oh, that's working. There's all these funny little surfaces in here. Is that all of them? I don't know. Just looking inside this head. I'm examining your head. Okay, so now what I was thinking was maybe we could use that merge vertice thing, but being more careful, I just did Control Shift Select to get all of these. So I'm not selecting anything on the front, so I'm in no danger of those kind of lower numbers affecting us. And now, yeah, you can see where there's like vertices that are further apart. And let's see if we can get this thing to work for us. So we're at 0.01, and we can see those are still apart, and it doesn't seem to have damaged anything. Now let's try 0.1, and here's where we get a little risky. I can see it fixed that thing. So I'm thinking that will solve a lot more that way. And now let's see what happens when we do a planar. Okay, closer. I think that where we're going to have a problem with some of these, now is that it's not. Oh yeah, this was the thing we solved in the first place, if you'll remember. Just sort of took this and sort of, is that symmetry? Kind of scaled it down a little bit, and then took this edge. And then I did fill hole. Shift right mouse click, fill hole. Did that work on both sides? It did. Okay, so that, and then these, because these terminate here, there would be nothing for the vertex to merge with, as you can see. So what I might do is let's do some target welding, and hopefully we're still on. Yep, symmetry is still working. So, and then I can grab this and delete edge, and that's still a quad. So, and then let's repeat. Well, we don't have such a nice clean situation here where there's one on either side, but let's still, whoops. Let's target weld this, and I could just live with having a triangle there, considering everything else that's going on. So now it's all gone, all the bad splits, and then you can proceed with the proper UV mapping from this point. So that was your problem. You had all those little splits in the surface. I can save this. Let me know if this will be any use to you. So yeah, I may not have the right file to begin with, so you may want to resubmit, and also, yeah, you need to fix all that stuff.